The idea for an invention will occur to a scientist, and he or she will spend years of research and development getting it just right for public market. Sometimes, however, chance, circumstance, and maybe a mistake or two will result in an entirely new and unexpected product. In fact, many of the foods and items you see every day did not come from a well-planned idea, but were merely accidental inventions. Rubber, derived from the sap of the rubber tree, is used for countless applications today. Shoe soles, boots, tires, and even artificial parts are all made of rubber. However, rubber is not a new invention. It is known that people have been using rubber for hundreds of years. However, in hot weather, the sap from the tree melted and grew sticky, and in cold weather, it became brittle and inflexible. One man set out to find a way to solve these problems. Charles Goodyear tried mixing rubber with many different chemicals with mixed success. One day, he tried sulfur. There was no apparent difference in the rubber, but then he dropped some accidentally onto a hot stove. As he cleaned up the mess, he noticed that it had become firm, yet it was still flexible and wouldn't melt or shatter. It was just what he wanted. He named the process of hardening rubber vulcanization after the Roman god of fire. Now, vulcanized rubber is one of the major industries on Earth, and we use it every day. We all love the crispy, crunchy, and satisfying taste of potato chips. They're one of America's favorite snacks, and over $4 billion worth of them are sold each year in the United States alone. However, what most people don't know about potato chips is that they were originally invented as a way of getting even. One day in 1853, in Saratoga Springs, New York, George Crumb was losing his temper. George was a chef at a popular vacation site, the Caribbean Lake House, and one of the wealthy patrons didn't like his cooking. The customer wanted fried potatoes, and each time they came to his table, he sent them back, saying that they needed to be sliced and fried longer. George eventually grew tired of this, and decided to slice the potatoes as thinly as he possibly could. He fried them until they were crisp and curly and salted them. However, much to everyone's surprise, the customer loved these crispy chips and asked for more. Pretty soon, Saratoga chips became popular everywhere. As one of the first carbonated fountain drinks, Coca-Cola was an instant success. Now, people all over the world drink over 393 million Coca-Cola soft drinks a day. What you may not realize about this bubbly drink is that it was originally invented as a headache reliever. Dr. John Pemberton was a pharmacist who had already put a neurotoxin and hair dye on the market and was looking for a cure for a hangover headache. He mixed up a syrup in a kettle and added water. He and his assistant both agreed that it was delicious and it worked too. They mixed up another batch. This time, however, they added carbonated water instead of regular water. The result was a bubbly drink that they soon realized would do better as a beverage than a medicine. Coca-Cola, named for the coca leaves and cola nuts in it, is now very popular, and all because of an accident. Penicillin is a lifesaver. Untold millions of lives have been saved because of this antibiotic. As the first of its kind bacteria carries, it has stopped infectious disease in its tracks since its invention in 1928. However, it too was invented unexpectedly. Alexander Fleming worked as a bacteriologist at St. Mary's Hospital in London. One day, he was studying a plate of deadly staphylococci bacteria he had accidentally left near the open window. Some mold had blown in through the window onto the plate. The experiment was spoiled. However, he noticed that wherever the mold had landed, there was a clear spot where the bacteria had disappeared. He recognized this for the important discovery that it was, and soon scientists all over the world were developing this life-saving drug from the mold. Now, over 80 million prescriptions for penicillin are filled out each year in the U.S. alone. Silly putty is that weird goo that comes in plastic eggs and can be found in stores all over America. It's one of the most popular choice for its time, and it even produced its own fad. It stretches, it bounces, it shatters when hit with a hammer, and it can even pick up newsprint off a newspaper. It's hard to believe that this silly putty was originally invented for military use. During World War II, a man named James Wright was working to create a rubber out of the most abundant element on Earth, silicon. One day, he poured boric acid into a vat of silicon oil. The result was a stretchy goo with no apparent use. When the war was over, Peter Hardin remembered the stuff and thought of an idea. He borrowed $147 to start a business, and pretty soon was selling silly putty to adults and later children. Silly putty has now been a favorite toy for kids of all ages for over 40 years. Post-it notes are those handy little self-sticking papers that now come in all colors. They have become very popular and are one of the most popular office products available. However, at this point, I'm sure you can tell that their invention wasn't entirely intentional. Spencer Silver was an engineer at 3M Research Labs and was working to create a super strong adhesive. One day, he produced something that was quite the opposite of what he was looking for. It could stick to things, but could be easily pulled off. However, he did discard it. 4 years later, Arthur Fry was singing in the church choir. He also was a scientist at 3M Research Labs, and he used markers to keep his place in the hymnal. However, they kept falling out. He remembered Spencer Silver's super weak adhesive, and decided to cut the markers with him. It worked perfectly. The markers stuck to the pages and wouldn't fall out, but they could be pulled off easily without damaging the pages of the hymnal. Pretty soon after, well, 6 years to be exact, 3M started mass-producing and distributing Post-it notes, and the rest is history. Now you know that some of the most common and ordinary things you see every day did not come from an idea someone had. They did not come from a person who stayed up nights trying to invent a specific product. The inventors who produced these inventions did not wake up one morning planning to invent something. Call it coincidence, call it luck, or call it fate, but these inventions were all made because someone did something new and unexpected, or just made a mistake. However, it proves to us now that even accidental inventions can be brilliant. My resources that can be seen on this card, and they included the websites from all of the products I mentioned, and a book detailing these and many more products that were invented accidentally, called Mistakes That Worked. Are there any questions?
Have you invented anything yourself, Joseph?
The question was, have I invented anything myself? No, but I do like taking apart telephones and other things and putting them back together again, stuff like that. If there are no further questions, this concludes my presentation. Thank you.